Yes, I keep playing Lina. From our last session, I believe it's almost 2 months. So, first, right after the session, I uh, started to try to implement that signal noise that you gave me, especially regarding the range creep. So I was using I would say test account, and then I started to play on my main account that the MMR was 1400, and it was kind of very good because I won 15 matches in a row.
Wow.
11 matches as Lina and another two support matches and one as DP, which is my second hero. And I was in a kind of I started to autopiloting, like, oh, okay, I'm good, and then I started to lose a lot of games. I stopped doing the things that I was doing. I don't know, and then I lost kind of 10 games in a row. But now and then okay, I'm gonna figure it out what I'm stop doing, and then I kind of getting back the MMR, and now I'm around 2K. And with the new patch and everything, I keep playing Lina, but I still think there are a lot of things to improve, especially in the lane stage. And I would like to discuss with you. And yeah, the last session I talked a lot in the beginning, so I basically would like to suggest that we can work on, I don't know, maybe four uh, parts of the first 20 minutes of the game, like 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20.
Sure.
And, you know, because I think I'm I have a lot of it's like you said, it's from 0 to 20 minutes, it's I think I have a lot of things that I still can control. I don't depend a lot of the teammates, and especially 0 to 10 as a mid player. So I'm trying to work and improve and have some consistency on the on things that I do, especially from 0 to 10 minutes.
Hmm.
In other words, I want to avoid having those very bad games where I don't have items, I don't have any network, the map is shrinking on me. It's kind of terrible games.
Yeah, I
And
got
I
you.
think I can avoid them if I control at least from 0 to 10 minutes, the initial 10 minutes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we can focus heavily on your first 20 minutes. I saw that in your goals for the session. So like you'd like the majority of the focus to be today on that 0 to 20-minute mark?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So I selected three replays. One that I lost mid the lane stage to a Queen of Pain, and I was trying to recover. So I would like you to review that, and you give me some ideas what I could do, of course, to not lost the laning stage, but once it's lost, what I could do to recover, if I could do any better.
Sure.
The second replay, I felt that I want the landing stage against an invoker, or at least the invoker, we were kind of even. And I would like to know, we can review up to 10 minutes how I could get more from that game. I felt that I could have more items, more gold, more farming than what I had. And the third one, if we have time, we can skip uh, for, I don't know, after 20 minutes, that I felt that my team, they took some bad decisions, and I don't want to stay with them, like they were pushing wrong towers or doing things that I think, oh, we could be in another lane pushing another objective than going to weird and fighting this weird place. So what to do in that kind of situation.
Sure. Let's jump into the first one then and see what we got, and we'll work through them as fast we can.
Sure. There you go. That's the first one.
This is Lena versus Quap.
Yes. Honestly, I felt that that was the first co-op that I played against at my bracket. That the guy was kind of aggressive,
Hmm.
and I wasn't expecting. And especially with the first spell of co-op, I usually I kind of control the runes and I can recover my HP and mana. but the guy was being aggressive on me, and I lost the lane. I was not able to cover my HP. He,
I got you. Yeah.
Dial team are now picking.
This was in the bag the day Axe was born!
What have I got in the bag? What do you want it to be? 30 seconds to
and I
video
also this one I
games.
tried
30
the
seconds.
magical builds, and I don't know. I still don't feel comfortable with that
Yeah, I
build.
tried the magic build myself, and it didn't feel great. But I could be misplaying it as well. I tried it like 2 days ago.
It was a terrible first wave.
Yeah, I remember us talking about this aggro to your range creep. We just want to be very careful about doing this. So this is the thing I
Yeah.
told you not to do. So the way that we avoid doing this is to A-click him now before we're in creep aggro range, and then we have 3 seconds to hit him. So like, and then what I would do is, so what you do to do this, if you want to practice, is you back out of creep aggro range, you
Mm.
issue an attack on him, and then you have 3 seconds to hit him where you don't draw aggro. So what you're doing here is you walk up to the wave and you A-click him and draw aggro. It looks like, I can't tell if you were trying to draw aggro or just trying to A-click him.
No, yeah, I was just trying to a-click him.
Yeah. So do you understand my explanation about how to avoid this happening, or do you want me to show
Y-
you?
No, I understand. That's another point, and maybe a suggestion, I don't know, for the dojo, because I really miss training against people, like to reinforce this kind of thing, because uh, I kind of playing against bots, it's not the same thing, and I definitely would like to, I don't know, drilling against other people for my level or even a little bit higher to constantly, doing this, like playing, I don't know, the first 5 minutes 10 times in a row. And because the way that I understand is just practicing this, and then it's gonna
Yeah, it is a lot of
become a
practice.
habit. Yeah.
I mean, what something we can consider is adding like a 1v1 mid channel for people to
Hmm.
find people to play against. Is that something that might help you or something along those lines?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just add this to my notes here. Like even in your notes, consider 1v1 mid channel on Dojo. Let me actually just write it down. One second. Okay. Yeah,
Because
that.
look at the replay, I can, okay, I should have done that. But when the match starts, it's just
Yeah, I
almost like,
understand. It does take
you know.
practice. I understand
Mhm.
that. I mean, generally, you're still doing a pretty good job of hitting him with your nuke, being aggressive. You're missing CS though, is one thing.
And now it's even harder to get the range creep because they put this, they reduce the damage, the direct damage of the nuke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that was the time that I started to struggle. See this jump on me, and okay.
Yeah, I mean, the if I'm being frank with you, this aggroing at the start and then just missing CS is really just costing you. It's nothing too fancy. You got 3 CS there, or sorry, 4 CS, which was good. Let's see. You're gonna do this portion. I see what you did there. Yeah, you're still relying on your old nuke damage, which is understandable. You played a lot of Lina before the patch. Yeah, so it looks like you're literally recalibrating to the new damage. So like in this instance here, like these things add up. Like the fact that you're walking away from trying, like you have a 125 damage nuke to get this range creep. Like I would walk right here and nuke the range, but then you're getting 0 XP for leaving the lane for that range creep. So it's like 65 gold, 60 experience down the drain. So like another example here is that you're nuking the Quap when you have no fiery soul stacks. So you would want to position yourself over here in order to nuke through the wave to get yourself 4 fiery soul stacks. This type of stuff adds up a lot.
I get only one.
Yeah, it's okay to do that if you already have the stacks, of course. But you know, when you only have 1 or 0, then obviously giving yourself 1 is not very impactful. So this is like a lot of little things that added up. And when the lane is out of your favor and then the lane is on Quap's Hill, then this hero just kind of fucks you. So I don't think you're doing anything conceptually terribly. It's a lot of little things adding up that would definitely be benefited by having a practice. So when Quap's in this sort of lane, like the thing about Quap, she's very snowbally. You either bully her out of lane, which is actually what this matchup's supposed to have happen. Like you are supposed to win this matchup. But you either pull ahead and she has to fuck off, or you fall behind and you have to fuck off. That's like the only 2 iterations here. So I think going for a full wand was a big mistake. I would have gone straight boots, like full wand plus null talisman. These are laning items. So I would have just gone back for boots, and then I wouldn't have laned anymore. I would have wanted you to realize you weren't supposed to lane. Honestly, oh, what happened? Did my Dota freeze? Yeah, it froze. GG. So this is just the nature of Quap, and you did say you're not used to Quaps being really aggressive. This guy's definitely just playing the hero according to the way it should be played, so.
And yeah, I didn't check that. We can see on the replay, but if Quap focus on her Q, is there anything that I can do to kind of sustain, like raindrops are good against this?
The best thing you can do is to leave. She doesn't kill your tower. She doesn't flash farm. If Quap is maxing dagger, treat her like a Viper.
Okay.
There is no solution to laning against it. I'll tell you, all the sustain in the world is not going to be worth it to you than just to not lane. Once you meet this criteria of her being able to blink on you whenever she wants and dagger you, like the lane's over. So like right here, what you would have done, knowing this, is you would have seen her walk to the rune, know that you want nothing to do with her. You would have attacked the range creep twice, attacked this creep once, nuked from all the way back here.
I think you stopped sharing your screen.
I brought you should see it. You might need to click it again, but you should see it.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
All good. So these are the moments where the only thing you can learn from this is that when Quap is allowed to blink and dagger you, you're not allowed to lane anymore. Like, you just can't lane. It's a Quap specific matchup thing, of course, but so like in this instance, you would be like, in an ideal world, you'd know like, I don't want to lane against this guy anymore. But like, you can also feel this in any matchup you play. Like, I would want you to be like, this doesn't feel good. And so what would happen is whenever that doesn't feel good, so when lanes feel good, you want to confront the enemy as often as possible. Like, you want to be trading with them, you want to be CSing near them, you want to be fucking with them as much as possible. When you're not having a good lane, you want to interact with them as little as possible. So what we see is that every move we make is determined by how much does this move make us interact with them. So like we want to be min-maxing our interaction with them based on how good the lane feels. So like right now, you told me the lane doesn't feel that great. So Quap leaving, that's the dream. Nuke the wave and leave. Like that means that we get to kill the creeps as soon as possible. Like this guy walking away. So because you don't have any fiery soul, I would nuke the creeps right now. And I would leave by the time she gets back.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, if you had Fiery Soul already, I would have walked up, right-clicked the range once, walked back, right-clicked this 3 times, nuked, and left. But since you don't have Fiery Soul, that's not going to be very fast, so I would nuke it right now. But, like, notice how you're chilling to go for some denies. You're lingering, she comes back, daggers you, feels really bad. You're, like, trying to sustain through it, which is not, obviously you didn't know that in the game. But, yeah. But this rule of, I'm just gonna put this in your like notes for the replay.
I think I decided that right now after almost dying. Okay, I don't want to be in this lane anymore.
How good is the lane going? This determines how much we want to interact with the opponent. Every action you use or you judge for yourself is through the lens of how much interaction it creates. So instead of min-maxing killing creeps, you are min-maxing interaction with the opponent. And this will begin to matter more and more as you climb MMR.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, so what happens is to get to around 2K, you need to be farming faster. And that still matters. Like, probably going to 3K. But I want you to think of there's a balance between farming faster and then the inevitable thing that happens is you're playing against other players who know how to farm faster. And now you need to learn how to interact with heroes because everybody's farming fast. And now the way to win is to farm fast while choosing the right interactions.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? What I mean by this?
Yes.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where you're at because you gained 600 MMR. That's a lot, right? So you've climbed enough where clearly your farming speed got better. And so we're now needing to recreate the same farm while knowing that the opponent is going to be generally better at hitting us and disrupting us and stuff like this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm facing because up to this point, I was basically playing every lane same way.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what I had at the other side, And now it's being different.
Well, that's basically you graduating. Meaning last time I said you're doing all stuff inconsistently. So we need to do this over and over. That's what I said to you. So now you've created that, which is great. It's not perfect, but it's way better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then now we know that as we get better, the enemies will more and more understand what we're trying to do. So if they understand what we're trying to do, we have to understand how they prevent us from doing that and adjusting. So this basically what I'm saying is learning matchups, in a nutshell. So for Quap, what I'm basically telling you is this matters for Quap specifically in this game. But what I'm looking for you to take away from this specific, so this goes right at I have a strengths and weaknesses. Strengths got much better at replicating the same thing. Weaknesses is assessing matchups and how good or bad they are at any given time. So my analogy I would give you is that, they talk about people ignoring red flags in relationships, and it's in theory, you could have known about the red flag day 5, but you only really realized how bad it was day 60 or 2 years down the road. And it's what you learn from that is you might end up dating somebody similar, but you'll detect the red flag much earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, you were detecting that this lane wasn't so great and you got forced back to base now, and you're like, I don't really want to lane anymore. But theoretically, you could have known that right when you died.
Yeah.
So, like, that's just something where you will, as long as you're assessing how good or bad the matchups feel, and then you can look for that moment where you think, okay, this was where I knew the matchup was bad. The earlier you recognize it, the better. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Totally.
So let's just, we're going to go with that. So, yep, just force out
That's
the lane and
me. I
jump.
don't want to be there anymore.
Yep,
And
you
he
learned
will
it.
jump.
So it's like, I trust that you'll know what to do once you're in that spot. Made the
And
mistake of
even though
walking
she
back into
still
lane. Yep.
was there, and then I'm gonna go back lane again, base again.
Yeah, it's funny that you, so what you learned here is you're allowed to walk right here. You're not allowed to walk right here.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to let her push the wave into you and farm these new camps.
Mhm.
Right?
I thought I'm full HP. I can at least get that wave and get
Nope.
out. But no, not
Your
even
goal
that.
is to stay on the map, and Quap doesn't let you do that. Quap's one of the best heroes at taking you off the map. So we don't want her to do that. When you're a farming hero and they're an aggressive hero, they're trying to take you off the map. You're trying to stay on the map. So we need to min-max that. So with Rubik near you, that's fine. I would have probably just let him have the wave anyways, and I would have just jungled. Okay, Pudge being annoying. That sucks. Yeah, so you're getting bullied away. I do think that was a bit overcautious. I would have tried to take the camp with my nuke. But I understand what you're doing. Okay. Yeah, so what you haven't registered is that at minute 4, you knew you're not allowed to go into the river.
Mhm. Yeah.
But you keep going into the river. And so every time you go into the river, you're either dying to Quap or somebody else. The only time you're allowed to go in the river is for like 2 seconds to nuke the wave and leave. And it's because you specifically saw Quap somewhere else. Like, I'm telling you, that's the right answer that you would eventually come to if you didn't have these coaching sessions and you took, months or whatever to like hone this understanding. So I'm not expecting you to understand this, but what I'm saying is like, that is what I believe to be the correct answer. So when you would watch games like this, I would want you to start kind of calibrating for yourself, how good or bad did this matchup feel? And how far up in the lane am I allowed to exist?
Mhm.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it
Cool.
does.
So how good is the matchup? How far up in lane am I allowed to exist? And for how long? That's really
One
important. What's up?
one thing that I don't know if it's applied to this situation, it's I
Yeah.
remember you telling in another mid-player coaching session, I believe the guy was playing Storm or something like this,
Yeah.
that if the mid laner left his lane to ganking, push the wave. You
Yes.
know, like
Absolutely.
you said that I cry when my mid lane is jungling and I see the mid lane empty, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember that.
Yeah, so what's interesting about this play is that you saw Quap was not here. This was actually just kind of a positional error because you're against Pudge, but that's understandable. So like now Quap's coming back. So like you're out of here.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta leave. So like I would have walked this way because Quap's coming from up here. So like you have the right idea that enemy mid ganked, I'm gonna push the wave. But then what's happening as you gain MMR is the execution needs to be cleaner. I'm against Pudge, so I have to push the wave from within the wave. Right? Like I can't be on the side of it because then he's just gonna hook me. Right? And then
Hmm.
when Quap leaves, it's good that I push the wave, but I have to know that she's coming from the top lane. So I'm gonna retreat this way. If she was coming from base, I would retreat this way. If she was coming from bottom lane, I would retreat this way. So in this case, you pushed mid because Quap's missing, but then you retreated the direction that she is coming from. Do you see that?
Yep.
So it's all about this cat and mouse game, which you're pushing the lane because she's gone. And if you're in a bad matchup and you push the lane when they're gone, your goal is to force them to come back, but not be there when they come back. Right? That's your goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, Perfect. Just let me know if any questions you have while I'm going here. So Quap ganked again. You're gonna push. This is great. You're gonna leave this time. Even better. Quap's ganking bottom. You actually responded. Ballsy. This looks like a ballsy response, but let's see what you're thinking. You're watching the play. That was a good. Oh, I see that. I see that. Nice pause on the stun. Or okay, yeah, you just nice. Okay, that was pretty well played. Okay. Yeah, fuck him up. Nice play. That was good. Nice. Okay. I don't mind that you just back off here. Okay, and then you come back into the fight. I like that. I like that you did not make yourself like the point of contact pushing the lane, and then you rotated back to the fight. I like that a lot. Then you push that back off.
Yeah, at that moment, I was okay. I'm in recovery mode from this very bad lane phase.
Yeah, I think you're doing a decent job of being in recovery mode. I think you were a little bit not sticky enough to bottom tower. So, like, what I mean by that is, like, right here, I would have loved to see you walk back to here and, like, nuke the wave. Like, after he pushes
Mhm.
it into you. Just nuke
I
the
was
wave.
afraid of arena.
Yeah, I understand that. You see,
Like
Pudge and you see Ringmaster. So I would feel very good to be here and nuke from fog. Like, I understand what you're afraid of, but like, so white now. Imagine you
I
went right
think I
here.
pinged him. Yeah, I pinged him like, "Hey guys, go bot," because I don't want to be there alone.
Well, I
Yeah,
want
I
you to
pinged him
see
once.
that you could have been right here and nuked the wave and ran immediately.
Okay,
There's no way he catches you with these items.
yeah,
If he had blink, it's different,
blink.
but he doesn't
Hmm.
have blink. So I'm just saying to be stickier to waves because, you know, I do think this tower kind of dies for free in a way that it shouldn't. Just a creeps. I understand why you're scared, but we just need to basically be willing to push the limits. Otherwise, we're never going to really learn them. So pushing the limits here is that if you can walk up to the wave with never showing, that's like the safest, right? Like you just don't even walk up. You're not doing it in order to get the farm. You're doing it to clear the wave. And your Q is like really good for that because it's like 350 damage or something. Yeah, it's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to TP to your axe. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're trying to make shit happen with your team. I like it. Your life stealer has radiance. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're being crazy active around the map. You're obviously pretty good at playing Lina at this portion of the game. We've gotten to 20 minutes. I know whatever happened here, just a bunch of DCs, but I feel pretty good about the way you were playing between 12 and 19. I think the mistakes were way higher in the first 7 minutes. Like I'm
Yeah.
pretty happy with the way you played the 8 to 20 minute mark. So,
Yeah, from that moment we lost the match, but basically it was Life Stealer was flaming Doctor, and then it was a whole mess. People have to mute them. The guy was screaming because Doctor was going to Scepter or something like that. Anyway, I don't know. The guy started to fight, and
I understand.
but
Yeah, I mean, it is what it. I understand. I think what you did is good, and I think we can be happy with that. Like I liked the 8 to 20. I think the biggest lesson to be learned here is, or not 8 to 20. It was like 12 to 20. That was very good. The moment where you stopped playing mid so much was where it was good, and I think we could have known that honestly at like minute 4. So if we can just, our goal moving forward from here is knowing that like you're not going to know matchups perfectly, but your goal is to recognize the moment that the matchup feels really good or really bad as soon as possible. like,
Mm-hmm.
and to assess how good or bad it is, because it's not just like yes or no, right? It's like some matchups are I'm fine to walk up, push the wave, and leave, and some matchups I have to have pushed the wave before the guy gets back. You know what I mean? Like I have to be gone
Mm-hmm.
already, and this is like an example of like that kind of matchup where you have to push the wave and be gone by the time he comes back. Otherwise, you're taking a dagger that reduces your movement speed by like 30% or something. It's actually 55 when he maxes it out. And then it's also like, how much damage is this? It's 540 damage at max level. So
The
like we don't.
interval is 3 seconds, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
I can
540
even use
damage.
my bottle.
Yeah, you can't use your bottle and it's 540 damage. So if they're maxing it out, this shit fucking hurts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we don't want to be around that at all. Cool. Are you good to jump to the next game?
Yes, I have the
Okay.
second one. It was against Invoker. This one I got more CS, and um, basically I would like to know what I could have done to maximize the laning stage, maybe even get some kills. And again, as you said, now I'm in the new stage where I have to learn the matchups. It was the Invoker that takes out my mana all the time. It was very annoying,
Yeah,
like
there's a common thread here. It's the same thing as Quap. Like when you're against Invoker and he can just EMP you off cooldown, then you don't want to be there anymore.
mhm.
It's the same thing. I'm sure
This
we'll learn
one,
a similar lesson. But go ahead.
this one we can go maybe up to 10 minutes.
Like
After that,
from 0 to 10, you mean?
yes,
Yeah,
because after that, Tidehunter started to throw the game. The guys was AFK jungle, and
gotcha.
again, team was complaining about him, and okay, it is what it
Okay, it
is.
is what it is. Yeah, sounds
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah, I got,
the classic
I definitely
Pudge
was
sitting
not
mid, and
expecting that.
yeah. It's a Pudge special, master tier Pudge player. He knows all the.
Oh yeah, the guy's level 30 on Pudge. Mm.
Okay, doing a lot of little things right here. Yeah, I think it's the aggroing to your range, which you still have to be careful of. I would have wanted you to
Mhm.
block this a bit earlier, but you're still doing it decently. A little bit slow on it that time. Yeah, I was having a tough time getting used to the CSing with the new like damage shit. Yeah, I mean you're doing a lot of little mechanical things correctly. I'm not sure why you still insist on doing these aggros. It's really funny. Like
Yeah, this time I didn't saw the guy, and then okay, I'm gonna deny my range. He's not here in the lane, so.
I see. I don't hate it, I guess, actually. Maybe that was a cute play. Maybe that was fine, actually. Maybe that was good. I'll let you go. I'll let that one. That's fine. Ignore my critique. I wouldn't have done it myself, but it doesn't seem wrong. It might even be right. So just a little miss. Yes, under tower, not a big deal. I mean, it adds up, but it's
Hmm.
nothing to be coached. Yeah, so
Yeah,
this is the
this
same
moment.
thing where you're okay. You recognize to leave lane.
Yeah, was it a good time to go jungle? I thought, oh, this guy's taking out my mana. I'm gonna get my neutral item. I think.
So what you do here is you give up the range creep, and you know how, like, if you learn how Invoker works, you don't walk up to him here. You defensive aggro these creeps back, and you're, like, back here instead of walking up to him. And then he doesn't get this off on you, and you leave. Like, you leave without missing 300 HP and however much
Maybe
mana
half
that
of my
burns.
mana.
Yeah.
A lot of.
So I think if you had executed that more defensively, basically what you learned is to go for the range creep, you paid half your mana and 300 HP. And then you have to ask yourself, is that worth it?
No, definitely not.
So that's just how it works, though, right? Is because in the past I told you walk up to the range creep, hit it, walk away, right?
Mhm.
Now you're in a matchup where doing that costs you 300 HP and half your mana. So you're now being taught trade-offs and opportunity costs, right? So you know what you want to do, which is walk up to the range creep and hit it. It's great that that autopilot is on. Like, to be clear, that autopilot, it's clearly better than what I remember, right?
Mhm.
Like your general mechanics, you're doing a lot of nice things. So it's clearly better. So now you're in the spot where I know that's what I want to do. Do I get to do it? Like, that's
Like recognizing the situation and okay, it's not favorable. I cannot do what I want to do. That's what
yes.
you're saying.
Exactly. It's
Mhm.
that so there's like it's a lot about what exactly does my positioning need to be while I'm doing this. So what I mean by that is against Invoker, what you learned here, and I can tell you from experience, like every Invoker will do it to you, is that if you're close enough to him so he can easily tornado you and then EMP you, so he has to be able to tornado you, right?
Mhm.
Then you will get tornado EMP'd and lose half your mana. So like this is close enough for the tornado to hit you, but this is like you could sidestep the tornado if he throws
Mhm.
it at you. You know what I mean? So to get the range creep, you had to position yourself right here. But to not get the range creep, like if you're only doing the melee creeps, you could walk here, you could defensive aggro and pull the creeps back, and then you can nuke from over here, and then you're getting 3 out of 4 creeps, right? Which is better than nothing. Like it's not like you're not supposed to lane, but we're ironing out the exact positioning you're allowed to have while you do the things that you already know you want to do. So we had to get you here first, where you were doing the things that you want to do consistently, which is what you're doing. You're basically blind, in my eyes, like somewhat blindly, just kind of walking up to the wave and repeating. And it makes sense that you're here again because you climbed, you got better at it, and now you're running into people who are preventing it. And they're fucking with you while you're doing it.
Mhm.
And you're like, what the fuck? Like, I just let me hit the range creep once and walk away.
Yeah.
Um,
Was able to do that before. Why I
yes,
cannot?
exactly. That's exactly what MMR though is. You know, it's an indicator. I think the higher you go in MMR, what I've learned is it's just how disruptive people are while they're playing the game. And it's a combination of how disruptive they are and how they respond to disruptions. Like a lot of players, even at my bracket, really get tilted when they're getting disrupted. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like it's like, like they get so mad. And I'm like, you already kind of knew that's the matchup, you know? Like you don't have to get mad at it, but they don't think that way. And like I'll even get mad myself sometimes. So yeah,
Uh,
you like
let
go ahead.
let me ask you something. So, um, 2, 3 waves before that, when I decided to go jungle, uh, if I know the matchup, you said that I should kind of not walk into the range creep, stay a little bit behind and do some CS. So going to the jungle was not the best thing to do, or it was a good thing, but not losing my HP and mana.
So what you learned here is that by you sitting in lane, you get EMP'd. That's what you
Yeah.
learned. So what that is, and once again telling you similar to the Quap is, I'm strong enough to lane here because it's different. Quap can literally blink on you. So like, there's no positioning that solved the Quap problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
Hmm.
that's why I told you in this example, is there positioning that prevents what he did from happening? Which there is in this case. So like, let me just real quick, Invoker or Lina versus Invoker. I'll just put in the other one, bullied by Dagger, cannot position around it. That's really important here. Lina
You're
versus
just gonna go
Invoker.
there, heal me, and that's it. And
Yeah,
the
like
deck,
if you
there's nothing
walk
I can
up,
do about it.
if you walk right here, right, you could literally be all the way back here, which is like your maximum CS range,
Uh-huh.
and Quap can stand right here ready to blink on you. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So like in the previous matchup, you had to just leave lane. the moment that you recognize that she can just blink on you. Like, because that, like, what else are you supposed to fucking do? She's a hero that can blink on top of you, which forces a fight, and you can't fight her. But Invoker's different, right? Because he's annoying for you to fight, but he can't force the fight, right? You have to be in a position that lets him do that. So it's like Lina versus Invoker. You're bullied by Tornado EMP. You can position around this, right? So we, like, the point is, if a matchup feels bad, like major, like core, like, let's just say major takeaway. If matchup feels bad, first question is like, what positioning, if any, fixes this problem? Right? So I would want you to, hopefully in other future matchups, I'd want your first question to be, that really sucked. Like, you'd have the same feeling you came to me with today, right? You got bullied by a co-op, you got bullied by Invoker. You're learning a new matchup, right? And you get bullied by this guy. And I would want you to, like, look back at the replay and be like, could I have positioned better? Could I have, like, defensively aggroed? Could I have, like, skipped the range creep? You know, what could I have done? You know, what do you think you could have done? And if your answer to the positioning question is, if you don't feel like there was better positioning, that means just leave lane. Right?
Okay.
So if you feel like you could have positioned better, let's say it's against co-op, and you feel like you could have positioned better, and you're not sure if it would be good enough, it's much better to try that first. You know what I mean? Like, try an option that you think is positioning better. And if that also doesn't work, ask yourself the same question. And then if you end up in this, I don't think I could have positioned better than that, then you've learned the lesson that I can't lane anymore. But I don't want you to jump to the conclusion of, I don't want to lane anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've had a few students like that like just kind of abandon the lane, basically. Like they get bet, like they're like around 3K, 3,500. They've learned to start leaving lanes when they feel bad, but they like completely abandon the lane, which is not. So you're asking a good question, which was I supposed to go to the jungle? Like, that's what you asked me. And that's what, like, started this conversation. So
Yeah, I'm asking this because I felt very bad when I TP back to the lane and I saw, this guy's level 6 and I'm at 5.
Yeah.
And then my move to the jungle was not a good option because I'm supposed to have more levels than this guy, or at least I felt that I had more CS. I don't know, lane was not so bad. What was annoying was losing mana. Other than
Yeah.
that, lane was good for me, you know?
Yeah.
And then I
Absolutely. Look at the
felt,
lane. Yeah, look at the
guy's
lane.
6, I'm a 5.
Like,
Yeah, look at that.
the lane is going well.
Mm-hmm.
So what you said is exactly correct. The lane felt good, except for when he burned my mana. So this is a matchup where you're not allowed to walk within 800 units of him, but you outfarm him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the lane is good, but what that means is you want to go jungle on your own volition. Like, you want to do it yourself. You don't want him to force you to jungle. You know what I mean? So, like, in this case, say you skip the range, you go jungle right now, like, after you kill these 3 melees, you drag aggro, you go jungle, you have, you know, you now have 360 mana left with 2 bottle charges, you go clear this camp before 5 minutes, you stack this one at 5 minutes, you rotate back to the tower to defend the wave that pushes in, and then you go back to the jungle. You know what I'm saying? You're just, like, barely laning, but you are laning.
Yeah, that was I kind of tried to do, but in a very inefficient way. I lost my mana and
Exactly.
it
So
didn't.
the
I
lesson you
had
learn
that
in
in my
this one
mind,
is
but
I don't want to get my mana burned. So, like, this is the exact same thing here, where you're gonna walk back into lane, you're full health, full mana, and rune's coming out, so you don't mind tanking this one, right? Because you'll bottle this one off, right? So now you have the rune. You know, where are we going? Right? Where are we going? We push the wave. We're good now. Just leave. Like, in all honesty, if I'm being nitpicky, oh my god, my Dota froze again. What the fuck? Something about the new patch must be doing this. Alright. I'm gonna reshare with you once I open it.
No problem.
Man, 2 Dota freezes in one session. Brutal. It just wants me to stare at my 32,000 hours played again. That's all it wants. Okay.
Let me know when you're sharing again.
Yeah. I got you. I was just taking notes for your document here. I am sharing again.
Okay, there you go.
So, like, you know, we're going to just be nitpicky around what we've already talked about, which is we don't want to be within a certain amount of units of this guy, right? So you're going to TP back. Okay, it's on direct to camera. I was wondering what's going on. So you're going to TP back in. You're going to get your mana burned, but then you're like, I don't want to be within 800 units of this guy. Like, that's what I said, you know, but you would come up with your own positioning in every matchup. So guess what? Instead of walking through the river, which right here is within 800 units of right here, we would walk up here. Right?
Yeah, I see.
And then, so you'd walk this way, and then the wave shows up, and you'd be right here. Right? And then you'd nuke the wave, and you'd still be up here. And then you'd finish this, and then you just walk back. Right? And all of this is like, the whole time you were right here, he theoretically could have EMP'd you.
Yeah.
Which would have been really annoying.
Invoker, yeah.
Yeah.
I have done that again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So this is just where what we want to do is I want you to start nitpicking. You are doing the stuff I want you to do, but what is your positioning and execution of what you're doing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's where you're at now. I think you've graduated to positioning. You know, positioning and execution of the
based on matchups.
Based on matchups of the autopilot farming that you have created. Because what you're doing is still in theory correct. You're just ignoring hero matchups right now. So every matchup you play, I want you to my emphasis is that I don't want you to think I only learned the Quap matchup or I only learned the Invoker matchup. I want your goal to be, as long as I know how good or bad this lane feels, and then I also learn to identify why, you know, like Quap matchup, she's daggering you. Invoker matchup, he's EMP mana burning you and stuff. It's like what happens is you will be able to learn matchups faster. Does that make sense? Like, it's going to be the hardest to learn these two because you haven't learned, like, you haven't thought about matchups enough. But over time, I just want you to think of learning matchups as a process. Like, you will get better and better at learning matchups. So the next time it takes you to learn a matchup, maybe it's 1 game instead of 5 games. Or maybe it's within the game itself, you can adjust, you know, like whatever. Usually that's not the case, but I'm just, you know, giving examples. So, like, everything you're doing is great. Just don't walk up this hill, and then you go back to jungle. You're good. You are happy to farm, but Invoker and Quap are both non-farming heroes. So what that means is we want to interact with them as little as possible. So, like, I respect that you're, like, bullying this guy, but it's not really worth your time since you're the trade farm guy. If you had a guy ganking for you, that move would probably be really good, right? So you're learning, like, I can kind of push over the edge against this hero if I had a little bit of help. That's kind of what you learn there. The Quap matchup's much worse. But you still, in this matchup, it's not like atrocious. You'd just rather not be around him because you're farming faster than he is. And for like these type of heroes, your only concern is if they gank, right? Because you're farming and they might go kill people. But yeah, this EMP mana burn stuff feels really awful. So
yeah. I'm constantly low mana.
Yep, you're going to back off. You're going to go jungle. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think what you're doing is fine. Like, meaning, you have a lot of good things going here, and
Yeah.
I'm confident once you adjust to the matchups a little bit more, and it's not like black and white, right? Like you'll adjust a little bit, and then you'll adjust a little bit more. Um, and I'm gonna talk. We have our like mod meeting tonight every Sunday, so I'll
Hmm.
talk to them about if it's like it's probably pretty easy to just add a mid 1v1 channel. Um, so hopefully we can have
Yeah.
you get some more practice with matchups, and even then you could be like, hey, I'm learning co-op versus Lina. Can somebody play co-op? Um, stuff
Yeah,
like that could be.
basically, I would like to train against anything,
Yeah,
you know, like a list of mid players, people willing to practice, I don't know, 10 minutes
I
at the
imagine
first
it's something of
stage.
interest to a lot of mid laners. So I don't. It's probably very easy for us to set up the channel, and then it would just be kind of on you guys to put yourself out there and reach out, and we can make it a little announcement letting people know that we're adding a 1v1 mid channel and stuff. So
Mhm.
um, I'm sure that's quite easy. Anything that doesn't require like consistent time and energy from the mods and myself, it's quite easy to do. So um, I think that'd be no problem. Um, and okay. So, want to jump to the third game because we hit the 10-minute mark, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's jump to the other one. At
Okay.
this moment, you can see my Tide Hunter is at
Mm.
mid,
Yeah, he's not too
and
happy. Yeah.
that is the moment that the game was completely awful, just
Uh,
toxicity, and
he's even winning his lane. Huh. Wonder what happened.
yeah, I don't know what happened. And then look at this, the guy was kind of mid, and then he started to farm. The Mirana was also there, and then what the
Yeah, that's kind of ruined your game a bit.
yeah. Let me get the third
Huh.
one.
What a weird move by Tide. Hmm.
Then I was okay. I'm gonna try to keep the lanes pushed. By the way,
Yeah.
that was an excellent class. I was trying to get something from the game. Uh, What is the chat?
No, I think you're adjusting to it very reasonably. I'm waiting for your next replay while I'm watching though.
Yeah,
Okay.
just put on
No,
mute.
I like your adjustment to be like this is awkward, go home, get resources, go to other lanes. I think that's a very good
Yeah.
adjustment to what you said, what you had happen in front of you there.
Yeah, this one, I think I had a very good laning stage, but if I don't know, due to time, I don't know if you want to fast forward the
How much of
first.
this game were you wanting to watch?
Uh,
Or like what specific portion are you wanting to get the most out of?
yeah, I have some timestamps here.
Sure.
26 minutes and 30, yeah, 26:30,
Okay.
and then 41:30.
Okay.
Yeah, against Cop again, but this one the guy was very bad. So
That's gonna
I
happen
had a
sometimes.
very yeah, I had a good lane stage in terms of CS and everything.
Yeah, so I'm fine to skip later, but I'm also fine to like fast forward through the lane. I feel like we have enough to work on in the lane, but would you also like me to watch the lane in this one, or should I just like skip to like 10 minutes?
Yeah, maybe 4x or 8x, even just watching the
Oh, okay, yeah,
CS
yeah, yeah, sure,
or
sure.
yeah, fast forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this guy he maxed his E instead of Q, and I was satisfied with that. Or at least he couldn't get my HP low, so I was feeling good at the lane against him. He was the guy that was constantly low
Yeah,
and
yeah.
dying.
This is how the matchup's technically supposed to go.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like what you're doing a lot here. Unfortunate on the rune.
He got the rune. I said, okay, so I'm gonna go jungle because
I do think the one thing you can do, I'm just going to quickly show you what I'm saying and rather than describe it. Probably like fine to describe it, but so like walking back from your, can I switch teams?
it's I believe it's after invulnerability.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Ah!
Oh.
Holy fuck. Why'd you tell me to do that? Okay. So like you have like boots, no talisman, you're like level 7. You know. So like generally I think this is gonna be the way that you would want to play this is you like nuke this camp. You go like this. You come over here and hit that. And then you pull this. And then you hit both camps at once with your nuke. So what you're doing is just nuking one camp at a time. But I think that's like a much more efficient way to do what you're doing. Does that make sense? Okay. So it's like a nuke the camp to aggro it to the right, and then you go grab the other camp, and then you line them up and hit them both. It works on Radiant as well. So that's just a little bit of a nitpicky thing for farm efficiency, but you're already doing a solid job on the farm efficiency. Yeah, basically we're trying to make that nuke hit twice as many creeps because it's your limiting factor here is you end up running out of mana. So we're trying to maximize the mana usage. It actually really sucks that people can just like easily deny the range creep now with level 4 even with level 4 Dragon Slave. Nice kill though. Yeah, it's so interesting that you choose to like be aggressive here. So like what you're doing here is so interesting to me because I would just walk at the rune really aggressively while Quap's dead, and if it's not there, then I would go for the other rune. Looks like you're like kill hungry here, being aggressive, which like I can understand that. I would have just tried to get the
saw
rune.
Venom level 4 with less than half HP.
Yeah, you wanted it. I understand.
I saw that guy should not be here.
Yeah,
You're allowed
that's
to be
fair.
here at this condition.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Okay, understandable death there. It's a little weird of a play. So you're gonna... Yeah, so TPing into Quap
Very
is just a
bad.
big no-no. Yeah. What you are learning in both these games is stop interacting with Quap unless it's a gank. You don't want to be on the same part of the map unless you're, like, catching Quap off guard. So, like, just leave, right? Don't do any of this. Just leave. Yeah. Now just go jungle. Yep. I would want to be... Yep, pick that up and then go triangle. No? Okay, you're going to stay. That's fine. Just leave. Yeah, this whole getting daggered thing. You're lingering mid way too much. Okay, it's just the same kind of quad thing here. You're like lingering for like 5 seconds. Like right now, just go somewhere else. Don't do any of this. Just go somewhere else. Clear this wave and go here. I'm not. I can ask the question. I'm not sure what your insistence of staying in the mid lane is. Like, why do you want to stay here?
I don't know. I feel like I won the lane and control this area, and it's close to 40 minutes. Power runes.
Winning lane does not mean you control the area. Like, the person who fucks with the other person better is the one who controls the area, and I want you to kind of have this feeling that unless you're killing the Quap, it doesn't really benefit you to be near her. Like at some point. Did you notice how that happened? It's like at some point you were just killing her and pushing her out of lane, but then at some point you couldn't kill her anymore, and then she was annoying. So like for me, if like at 33, you just go farm this camp, and then you would walk back to the bottom rune to get the 14-minute rune, and if Quap meets you there, sure, 'cause she's like blinking into you and you have all your stuff, that's fine, but you don't really want to play mid lane this much, as much as you're playing it, because of the nature of Quap having kill threat on you with +1s. Like Quap plus Veno kills you, Quap plus even Enchantress coming behind you kills you, Quap plus Axe. Like anybody plus Quap kills you. While nobody on your team really kills Quap, unless it's like CM smoking behind or something like that. But the point is I wouldn't lane against Quap unless I have somebody on my team ganking. That's like how I'm looking at it. So
I
yeah.
think at this point we can skip to the 26 minutes.
Okay, sure.
Just for
Yeah.
sake of time.
Yeah.
22, yeah, 33. I also learned that the axe was a big, huge threat to me in this game,
Yeah.
and I cannot show myself.
Okay, what's happening here? So they're all missing. What do they have? They have like Blink Axe. They have Bloodthorn on Meepo. That's scary.
I have a general question. That's why I put 26 minutes.
Yeah.
So again, watching one of your, I believe, old coaching sessions, you said that that was my understanding. In a regular game, I would say that all players they have exactly the same level. Usually, the first tower to down, it's the safe lane tower, right? Because usually off laners they get level 6, they are a huge threat to safe laners and so on. So in this moment, for example, yeah, my team is fighting for Roche, and we have a 10k advantage. What would be the best objective in general terms? I would say that after getting Roche, it's pushing bottom, then fighting against that tower 2 mid or even the tower 2 um, on their side, on the off lane, on their off lane.
The number one objective past tier 1 towers is to play the map and get kills and farm. So the most important objectives in the game are creep waves and creep camps. So the entire map is based on how many creep camps do we have, how many creep waves do we have access to, how many plays can we make on people who are farming creep waves and creep camps, and how many of their heroes can make plays on us when we're farming creep waves and creep camps. So the biggest mistake you make is to go for Roche when you have no information. So going for Roche means that either they can't fight us even if they walk into us, they have no initiation whatsoever that kills us, or we see them somewhere else. Those are like the two reasons we do Roche. Otherwise, I just see a bunch of camps that we could hit. There's no meaningful objective. You have Pudge plus Blink, so if you feel strong, you can make a play. So you'd like smoke up with your Pudge and your CM and try to make a play. But like if I look at your lineup, you have a guy with a Radiance farming, a guy with Boots of Travel farming, you have Boots of Travel farming. Like the last thing I want to do is go force an objective.
Okay.
So 95% of the time when people ask me this question, I say, play the map. Play for creeps, play for kills, stop forcing stuff. There is no objective. Like the problem is that the majority of players think there is an objective. Like they have this assumption that we're up by 10k, we're supposed to get an objective. If you think Roche is doable for you guys and you feel really strong, the first question is, can we kill them? And so you do have a way to kill them. You have a Blink Pudge and you have a CM. So like you have decent catch. And as long as they go in first, then you're good. But the problem is that against a Bloodthorn Meepo and a Blade Mail Axe, it's really hard for you to fight them before you have a BKB. So like I would just farm until you have a BKB. Like that's what I would use my 10k lead to get a BKB. You know what I mean? So it's like you know, a lot of times I've just noticed that people feel like they have to get objectives, and that's the problem. Is this idea that we have to? Yeah, now the game's weird. We want to go back to top lane to finish our BKB. But we go back. Try to
Yeah,
fight
after
them.
that, we fight again for Roche.
Yeah. Okay, it could be worse, actually. You go back to Roche. Okay. I would...
Okay, Roche was not the best option, but okay, now that we took Aegis,
Yeah.
what should we do now? I told the
Uh,
team, Cop is buying time top, ignore Cop, but they went to top.
no, it should be your Aegis person pushing the Quap out is what should happen. You should play away from the Aegis person yourself. So it's his job to take the most dangerous farm, and for you to play away from him in a way that you can TP to him anytime he gets gone on. The only thing wrong you can do here is TP away from your team. That is the only thing wrong.
Exactly what I did.
That is the
And
only
then I
thing you can
died.
do wrong. Yeah. This is the only thing. So what you need to do right now is you need to recognize your lifestealer is like the point of contact on the map. He's the one you guys want getting initiated onto. Your only role in this is to be able to connect to him. Not to be with him, but to be able to be with him. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
Okay,
you farm away from him by walking. So your farming pattern would be this.
So on this exactly situation right now,
Yeah.
I should go toward bottom farming, and you know, so the best lane again. Should we push at this moment with Aegis? Should we push any lane or just play the map?
Your
Listen.
job is to be able to be with your team.
Okay.
I promise you what you're thinking, I understand it. It's way overcomplicated. Just be able to be with your team. Any
My
decision
job.
you make from there has a lot of options, a lot of nuance. We are effectively playing the map, and objectives happen by playing the map correctly. Like, if we play the map better than they do, the lanes get pushed in a little bit, we get some kill that they don't get, and then we get an objective because we did that. Nothing we do here is planning, hey, we're going to get top tier 2 next, or we're going to get mid tier 2 next, or we're going to pressure bottom tier 1. It's literally, we are going to play the map better than them, which means we're not going to get picked off. We're going to be able to be together for a fight so they don't get advantageous numbers. And when we do that, we kill them, and then whatever objective makes the most sense once we kill them is the objective we get. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so I remember this from our first session, that there are times where you have great ideas, but you're thinking like 10 layers when it actually is just one thing, which is don't TP away from your team in this case. Like, that's actually
case,
Go ahead.
I thought that we should push bottom. From my understanding, is the best lane to push, not only because we already got tier tower 2, but also because it feels very weird fighting close to these other T2s that they're still up, like we have Aegis, and just be a front line for me, guys. I'm gonna destroy everything. But the guys stay top, and then I died for Axe. Again, another lesson learned. I cannot show myself.
That's the thing, man, is that you're like, when I hear you, like, it's not like your attitude's bad or anything, but when you're thinking about your teammates, if I'm being, I'm going to be blunt here, you're trying to control too much. Just let them exist. Look at what they're doing. Know that it's your job to be able to be with them. That's your job, to be able to. And then play accordingly. There's no correct objective. There's no correct area of the map. None of this shit exists. This only exists if you play with your teammates regularly and you're all on the same page. But that's not the case in any of your games. You're going to get, like, you could literally have the theoretical perfect knowledge of how to play this game, but it doesn't fucking matter because none of your teammates are going to play according to that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's the thing is, it's a useless thing to optimize. What we want to optimize is how we adjust to whatever people are doing. Like, so that's why I don't want to give you an answer of this objective or that objective, because the reason you're getting in trouble is you think this is the best lane to push. You don't like what your team is doing top, so you TP away from it. Like, it makes sense. Like, your reasoning makes sense. But the only thing we need to fix, and the only thing that matters, is when you are strong and your team is strong, that you are able to fight at all times. That means resources, like health and mana, like making sure you're not sitting on the map with no mana, right? And then the other one is TP scrolls / like positioning on the map. You know, like you're near them so that you can fight with them. So like if you're not near them to fight with them, you would like push the wave and then get to them as soon as possible. Like say you were here right now and you hadn't TP'd and you were like farming this area, you'd probably push the wave from fog because you're against Axe. And then you'd clear these 2 camps and then you're ready to TP top here. Like you're ready to TP top. You're not going to TP top, but you're ready to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And this will fix all your problems, I promise. There's no correct matchup. There's no correct objective on the map. It's just think about, you literally identified it. I need this guy to frontline for me. And he has Aegis. So let's just let him do that. So I would farm defensively on the map, nuke this wave without showing, like super defensive, and then I would farm even more defensively over here, and then I would go all the way over here with the ability to TP back to him. And that's all that matters. And what that means is you're making yourself not a gank target, and you're ready to respond if they go on the guy who you would like them to go on. Right?
Yeah.
And then you cover everything there, right? As long as you're making sure you don't die at your own positioning. Sometimes you're going to feed. I did it yesterday. I did it in my game like 2 days ago. I literally was like, I shouldn't be here. And then, or like, I'm being a bit risky by being here. And then I died. You know, that's like it's like a classic. But, so it's like, it's a never ending process of like learning this stuff. But I promise you and everyone watching, abandon this idea of the correct objective. We want to play the map according to being able to be with our team when we're strong, thinking about gank threats, thinking about who we threaten with. So like in this case, your formula for killing people is Pudge blinking on somebody and then you stunning and ulting and all that stuff, right? There's like a formula you can kill people with. And it's like, if you try to do that when Axe is missing and Meepo is missing, then if you go on anyone other than Axe, he's going to go on you. If you go on Axe, Meepo might go on you. So that's like really scary because before your BKB, they have a Bloodthorn and they have a Blade Mail. So it's like, fuck. So it's like, oh, what is my objective right now? My objective is to buy the item that doesn't let them kill me anymore. Right? And so when you're asking like, where you're talking about Roche, you're talking about towers, it's like your objective is a BKB. That's the objective, which that's why I say like the creep waves and the creep camps are the objectives because they allow you to get items, they allow you to get levels, right? And also they tell you if they're missing or not, they tell you all this kind of stuff. So I think you've got a lot of good things going. I think your awareness of what you want people doing is good. But just abandon this.
They're not gonna do that.
They're not gonna do it.
On pub games, forget about it.
Yeah, who fucking cares? They're not gonna do it. Yeah. It's a useless skill. It's sad. It's sad. But the point is, a useful skill is to be able to be with your team and to know exactly what you want the fight to look like, and just be ready for that. Right?
Yeah,
That's the useful skill.
I brought this.
Yeah.
I would like to hear your opinion because my conclusion was like, it doesn't matter. You know, people will not follow, or most of them don't have this knowledge, and as you said, it's not valuable. You know, like
yeah, it's sad, but
I
it's
ended up dying.
yeah. You're making an aggressive play on the map. Your team's actually making good stuff happen top. Oddly enough, you're the one feeding. Usually when I try to control the situation, I end up being the one feeding.
And in my opinion, for example, look at that. For me, that's the worst place to be fighting. Like on their triangle, close. Why are not fighting at bot? You know?
Okay. I gotta be honest with you. You're actually just wrong here. There's no such thing as the wrong place to fight. Just play the map. That doesn't exist. That just doesn't exist.
Yeah, my conclusion was, okay, they are fighting in a place that I think it's bad, but really bad was I'm dying right now and not fighting with them.
If you think it's really bad, it's not that you're wrong. in the sense that it's a bad place to fight. If you don't feel like it's the right place to fight for you, then just continue farming in a spot where you're not dying. Right?
Yeah.
As the two options are to be able to be. So if you remember, I think you TP'd back to base in our last session in one of your games, and I talked to you about not TPing back to base. Remember that?
Yeah.
So
Terrible
it's the
TP.
yeah. So it's like it's the same thing here. The two axioms you're solving from like minute 25 to 40 is be able to be with your team as often as possible. There's times where you can't, but be able to be with them. Okay?
That's the priority.
Yeah. And then the second one is when you're not with them, don't feed. That's it.
Exactly what I did.
So like when you're alone, you just ask yourself, was that the best move to not feed? Because you can make plays by yourself when it's like minute 20, like minute 15. But like plays by yourself at minute 25, 30, like you just feed. Like that's just what happens. You know what I mean? Like that's just Dota. Like you're gonna die a lot of times. It's like not the risk reward ratio is not high. So like or is not good. So if you think your team is taking a bad fight, then your only job is to keep looking at it, meaning like, oh, should I go now? Should I go now? Does it look good? And if you're not going, then just don't die while you're doing whatever you're doing. So don't be showing on creep waves for very long. Don't be running through their jungle aggressively with no wards, right? Like if you want to conservatively push this wave and back up this way, that's fine. You know, if you don't think the fight's good, I still want you to assess if the fight is good. But it's not good based on where it is. It's just good based on are the heroes on our team killing them? You know what I mean? Like that's how I want you to assess the fight being good or not. Dota's not predictable enough to say like fights here make no sense, fights here are good. Like it's just not predictable enough anymore. I think that's kind of an outdated concept. Like I used to do it too. Like I know what you're thinking. I used to think that way too.
If we won the fights, we get racks at bottom, but winning the fights in other lanes, no. But anyway.
Yeah, man, just play the map.
Definitely. Yeah, stay with team and not feed like
that's the king.
If they want to go other side, go with them.
Yeah. No, don't go with them. Just be able to be with them. Remember that. Yeah, don't go with them necessarily. The last thing I'm telling you or anyone else to do is follow your team into bad fights.
No,
The point is to be able to able to fight as often as possible. So if they do fight and it ends up going kind of even, that you can be there and clean them up. That's the worst thing you want to do is be like, I don't think this fight's good, so I'm not going to go at all ever. And then look at the fight, it ends up being even and you miss 2 kills. You know what I mean? Like that sucks. And then the other option is you don't want to be sitting with your team all the time with no choice, and you're just stuck in really bad fights. So what's the solution? We farm away from our team with the ability to be with them. That's the solution, right? It gives us the option at all times. And that's the dream. And you had a good enough start where you have BKB, you have like a farming item, you have another survivability item against most of their heroes. So you can play by yourself. Like, that's the benefit you get from having such a good start. You're allowed to play by yourself, you're allowed to scale up, and then you're allowed to connect to fights and be useful. So now we just need to give you those 2 options. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. So you have one more timestamp I want to get to before we wrap up here. You said...
Yeah, I believe basically the other timestamp is a very similar situation.
So it looks like you TP'd away from your team again.
Again, yeah.
Yep, you don't TP out of your base here. Just walk.
I saw that lane, and okay, I'm gonna.
Yep, just walk. So you want to be able to be at that fight. Just be able to. Yep. So you're not even looking now. So like, if we watch it back, so you just walked bottom. So imagine you could have TP'd. Let's look at what's happening. I would probably TP after this fort. So I would TP right now.
No.
It's forted. I have Satanic. This guy's still alive. Yeah, I would TP. I would have TP'd on the creeps right now. And then I'd be hitting because I have Satanic. Plus BKB and Meepo's still dead. Yeah. But you don't even have that choice because you TP bottom.
Yeah, it was again. I not agreeing. I was not. I tried to communicate with them. Let's not push mid. Let's not fight mid. But everyone went there, and it should be with them.
You're just because it's the end of the session, I don't have a lot of time to go in depth. You're being too binary.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as the right place and the wrong place to fight. It's like this. I've been there and done that, and I'll probably do it again because in Dota we all develop very passionate opinions and like judgment calls, but it's overzealous and it's a little bit. It's like, dude, to act like you know how that fight's gonna play out is like, what I'm saying is none of us fucking know. Like, Dota is such a chaotic game. It's such a game of like small factors that really can decide whether or not one team wins the fight or not. That to act like 40 seconds ahead of time that where they're going to fight looks bad, it just doesn't work that way. Like, the only way that you'll make accurate decisions is if you are able to fight whenever they take it. And then you watch it. And you're like, oh, I could see myself TPing now. And then you TP. And if you never see that moment, then you don't TP. But if you aren't looking for that moment, you're fucking yourself. Do you see what I mean? Because the way you're saying is, I don't like that fight, so I'm going to TP bottom. I don't think that's a good idea. But then you remove the option. And that's the biggest thing that we're trying to get rid of right now. Because what you were doing early game is creating the same thing over and over again. That is very relevant for the first like 20 minutes of the game. The last 25 minutes of the game, it's so many different things can happen. If you're trying to replicate things, it's like fucking Sisyphus level task, man. It's just, you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
It's just, you're never going to accomplish it. So over the course of the game, things become less and less, scripted. It's much more dynamic over time, and the most important thing is to give yourself that decision. So when I'm watching your replays, your replay when you submit, I'm just gonna when I look at your later stages of the game, I'm gonna be looking at, did he give himself the option to be at fights? That's all I'm gonna do. And if you once you get that down, we can start maximizing your decision to go or not, But right now you're not giving yourself the choice, which is the problem. So if we can we don't have to focus on you showing up to all the fights. We just want you to have that choice. So be by yourself on the map with this Boots of Travel because you're playing a lot of Lina, right? Play by yourself on the map. Worry about your own positioning. Like, your job is not to die. And your job is to be able to fight. If you do those two things, I promise you'll see gradual improvement again. Couple that with the first 10 minutes matchup stuff that we talked about, and I would see, because you're clearly applying what we learned last time. You're clearly like ironing it out. So I think if we just give those two small tweaks, you'll be sent in a really good direction.
Good.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Any final questions or thoughts?
No. Very good session.
Awesome, man. So matchups for repeating same stuff in first 20. Be able to fight and have the decision past 20. That's what I'm looking for in your replay submission. So awesome, man. Then I'll let you go. Have a good one.
Okay, you too. Thanks.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, so I feel like it's like a gambling term that I mean, I learned it from gambling. I don't know how often people playing Dota have heard this before. Maybe you have, so it's just me acting like it's not a Dota term. But it's this idea of hedging. And in gambling, they call it hedging your bets. And what that means is that you don't go all in on one plan and that you have like a backup plan. So if you don't hedge, what you're saying is this fight's bad, that's never going to change, and I'm not going to act in a way that could ever change. While hedging your bets means I think this fight is bad, but if it were to look good, I would be able to capitalize on that. That's what hedging your bets means. So it's technically less efficient for him to walk to bottom lane than it is to TP, right? It's going to take him longer to walk here than it is to TP. But by TPing, he's not hedging. There's no hedging of his bets. So then when the fight comes out and it does look good, he doesn't have the option. And the moment that we decide for ourselves that we don't need to hedge anymore, it's generally just not good for us. So I just want us to think that, notice how he's not even moving his camera. He's not like looking at the fight anymore. It's because he's I mean, he looks now, but like he's kind of written off the fight. And we never want to write off options, especially when it's based on like such a complicated, nuanced situation. And that's just what Dota is. So I hope that helped. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I do have to go. I have some meetings coming up. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.